Yo, what's up? What's good? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chuck. Happy Saturday. Coming at you a little bit late today. Apologies for that, but it's a Saturday. What can I say? Hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you had a great week, and I hope you are having a great weekend so far. And guys, I've been getting a lot of comments, a lot of messages about Lost Origin. Recently approaching $600 a box. Pretty insane. So some of the sentiment that I've been seeing is that this is a box that is going to pass Fusion Strike. Now, I do disagree generally with that sentiment. However, it's definitely worth talking about today. The prospect of the potential for Lost Origin, whether or not it's a shallow set that people, that like a lot of people say, whether or not it stacks up to sets like Fusion. I think it's pretty clear, in my opinion at least, that it's the third best booster box of the Sword and Shield era. And I think boxes are really set to move pretty soon. We're seeing a lot of momentum shifting back into Sword and Shield. People are looking at the arts for Scarlet and Violet, and they're remembering just how good the alt arts are for Sword and Shield. Obviously, pull rates are worse. That definitely affects it. Still a decent amount of supply on the market. But, I mean, look at the price of the box, $550 plus shipping. We are having sales today at $600, or I'm sorry, yesterday. Day before, consistently being sold at $550. Actually, quite a bit of sales volume. 29th, around 500, but 550, 560, 520, 550 for really the past week or so. If we check eBay, we're seeing that very similarly, 550 plus shipping. Remember, buyers are paying tax as well on these purchases. So it's pretty insane. The movement, the kind of readying for a big jump, it's here, and it will hit Lost Origin. 11 bids, 555 plus delivery. That ends in 17 minutes, so go bid on that, I guess. 569 plus shipping. This will be a $600 box very soon. Now, what I wanted to do was compare the set values and compare what's actually in the set to, I would say, its closest competitor, Fusion Strike, because I do think this set is well above Brilliant and Chilling, because the chase card is just so much more significant. And I think Fusion's probably the closest comparison when you have like kind of really top heavy set, and then beyond that, maybe not a lot to speak on. $300 less in set value compared to Fusion. Now, the reason why I don't think it will pass Fusion is because Fusion has Gengar and Mew, and I think that's what it comes down to. This Gengar is also a really fantastic Gengar card, really unique, really like akin to the Sword and Shield alt art kind of style that they were going for. And then on top of that, you have a really lovely Espeon VMAX that a lot of people like, and it's still holding quite a bit of value. And then you got this Mew VMAX, which honestly I don't think is that cool, but it's hard to pull, and it is Mew with a lot going on in the background. But this Mew V, in my opinion, is much cleaner, much better. Got a couple other Pokemon in the scene here, but the best Mew cards to me are ones where it's just Mew by itself, or it's Mew surrounded by a bunch of other Pokemon, which I think is really sick. And then, of course, the Celebi is arguably the best Celebi art that exists. I would argue that it is. Now, is it as iconic as Gold Star or Crystal? Maybe not, but this is for sure like the best art Celebi has ever had, like objectively, in my opinion. And I expect this card to actually increase in value. Beyond that, Rainbow Mew, this Inteleon's amazing. Got the crazy gun situation coming out with the laser beams coming out into the sky. It looks epic. Card's beautiful in person if you've ever seen it, like the stars in the sky. And then you have like Genesect, and then your VMAXs and your full arts and your gold cards and all that. This set is extremely top heavy. Because honestly, beyond that, there's not even really anything here. I think if these cards were in Scarlet and Violet, even they wouldn't be worth that much. Whereas if you compare it to Lost Origin, pound for pound in the top, I think Fusion Strike wins. But the Giratina is a top alt art, and it's obviously incredible. Shinji's getting a lot of hype right now, which they've been getting a lot of hype for a while, but especially right now, if you've seen Seismitoad, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But this is Shinji's best card. And it happens to be a Sword and Shield alt art, which for my money is just the best version of current like alt art, full arts, like full card art cards. I mean, this card's incredible. I think it stacks up against the Gengar. Personally, I prefer the Gengar style, but I know a lot of people will prefer Giratina for sure. Aerodactyl, maybe not the most popular Pokemon of all time, but definitely fairly popular. And this is a really, really cool Aerodactyl card. You got the Tropius, you got all the different Pokemon down in the bottom with the volcano. Really, really cool card. Then you got the Pikachu's, Pikachu VMAX, and then the Pikachu card. Like, these are two really, really good cards. Two cards that have appreciated more as time has gone on. But really the main critique with Lost Origin is that there's two cards and then there's nothing else. If these two cards were in Scarlet and Violet, they would be like incredibly desired. Now, obviously, Sword and Shield has more time to have been ripped, so that contributes to that. But yeah, I mean, two really, really strong like trainer, VMAX Pikachu cards, and very clean, like no crowns, no nothing, right? Rotom V, it's Rotom, but it's a good art. And then, you got like these just fantastic kind of consistent arts. The Gengar with the guy doing something. But this card has shot up a lot in value. This Pikachu has shot up a lot in value, especially in 10s, right? These like gold and black cards are really, really nice in my opinion. Now, not maybe they're not everybody's favorite, but they're pretty unique and pretty cool. Obviously, this Charizard is a really fantastic card, pretty underrated in my opinion. And then you got like, your rainbows. This Giratina is pretty cool. And you got like Snorlaxes. Like, it goes down pretty far. Like, even this Eternatus VMAX is pretty sick. You got some rainbows, you got some trainers, like Orbitals, and it kind of rounds out after that. But I would argue Lost Origin is actually a deeper set than Fusion Strike. And, I think that's pretty appealing to people. And I think it's better than just these two cards. And, there's a reason why this box is super popular, Giratina being the main reason, but there's a lot to be desired in the set, in my opinion. And I think we're seeing that. We're seeing a huge jump up over the last couple weeks, being bought out. Anything under 500, gone. Absolutely gone at this point. Jumping up, we are comfortably in the 550 range. Boxes selling up to 600 consistently, too. Kind of a similar story for the Pokemon Center ETB, of course, no promo, 10 packs. Giratina box art looks really cool. Got the striped pattern on the side. Look at the volume. We had the TCG sale, but the volume is for a Sword and Shield PCTB. I mean, it's kind of there. It's somewhat flat, but going up in price pretty consistently. Same thing with the regular ETB. People see $100 ETB 8 packs for a set that's out of print. When you look at the Scarlet and Violet market right now, there's a lot of potential in sets like Lost Origin, and these ETBs look fantastic. They look really good to display. And it's a set that's pretty old with a lot of really great chase cards in a pretty strong set value. I mean, look at the trend here. $100 back when I used to talk about it, I said you can get this at $100 all day. Well, now it's 125, 130 bucks. And then, again, the alt arts, they're moving up in price. I mean, they're not necessarily moving up in price yet, but, if we look at the year chart on the Giratina alt art, and this goes really for all of the top alt arts in the Sword and Shield era, peaked around February when the market was like crazy, $708. Has since dropped quite a bit down into the $500-ish range. But look at the buyout over this past weekend. 10 have been purchased around that $500 price point. So the buyouts for these alt arts have begun pretty soon. Once the value of these alt arts go up, because I believe the Sword and Shield top alt arts are a little bit undervalued right now. I think they will increase in price. Especially this card with the, the Shinji kind of art. But once those go up, then investors will start looking back to the boxes. You know what I mean? They'll start looking back to these, and I think this will continue to trend up. Now, I also wanted to touch on mega sets coming out, because it seems like sometimes a little bit of hype gets driven back into the Sword and Shield sets every time like a mega art is released. A lot of people have speculated that Abyss Eye could be a Giratina set. PokeBeach said that could be something related to the deep sea. Maybe there's going to be a new mega evolution announced at some point in the game, Legends ZA. We don't really know yet, but please keep in mind that a lot of mega Pokemon that people keep predicting don't exist. Mega Greninja is not a real Pokemon. There is no mega for Greninja. Now, that's not to say that they won't announce that, because the other two starters have a mega, I believe. But this is the current list of mega Pokemon. My assumption was that they were going to make an SAR for every single mega Pokemon. I don't know if they're going to have enough sets to do that. I believe it's only 4. Correct me if I'm wrong. But we already have like Lucario, Gardevoir, Venusaur. We're about to get Charizard X. We're probably going to get Gengar. Oh, we are getting Gengar in the next one. RIP. But yeah, there's no Mega Giratina in this set. So, you know, there's that, it loses that catalyst. So if you want to pause and take a look, this is kind of what you can expect. You know, got the Latias. Mega Rayquaza is going to be absolutely insane. Personally, I'm hoping for a Mega Sableye as a fan of the Pokemon. There's the Mega Dragonite. Newly added, but yeah, I don't think there's any chance truly that Lost Origin can pass Fusion Strike. I just think the chase cards are too strong up top, and the Pokemon are better in terms of how iconic they are. Gengar, Espeon, Mew versus Aerodactyl, Giratina. So, and like, I'll give you the Pikachus, sure, but they're really like trainer cards. I just don't see it from that metric alone. You know, not to mention the fact that currently on eBay, Fusion Strike booster boxes are selling for $850, $840, $750, best offer accepted, probably $730. This is fake. $699, right? Like pretty high, like $809, pretty high prices. So, you know, I think as long as if Evolving Skies goes up, I think the money goes right back into Fusion, and then it goes into the next sets. And usually that'll be Lost Origin, and then probably Brilliant, Chilling, and Silver right below that pretty comfortably. So yeah, you can't really get this box at $700 anymore unless it's super beat up like this. With 12 bids and an hour left, $10 delivery, $710. This is what I'm talking about. This is not a $700 box anymore. This is an $800 box at this point. So yeah, pretty crazy. I do believe Fusion Strike will stay number 2, but Lost Origin, there's an opportunity there. If you can get it close to $500, under $550, you're going to be doing very well. And I believe the leg up has begun, and the Shinji hype is really feeding into it. So just something I wanted to point out today. Again, I've gotten a lot of feedback about Lost Origin versus Fusion Strike. Again, my stance, Fusion Strike, clear number 2, but Lost Origin is a very strong value at number 3. And if they release like a Mega Giratina, that'd be pretty insane. So I expect like this card to continue to do well. It's really fantastic. All that needs to be said about it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this buyout's absurd. So yeah, appreciate everybody watching. Hope you have a great weekend. I will be live tomorrow. That's right. I'll be live tomorrow. I will update y'all with the time, probably in the morning, maybe later in the day. We'll see. I got some things going on early in the morning. So definitely be on the lookout. I usually post on the YouTube posts, which you can see like on my channel. And let me know your thoughts down below. How you feel about Lost Origin. I mean, I got a box right here looking at it. Keep it on my desk. It's a pretty cool looking box too, I might add. Maybe I'll open up some loose packs soon. The moment that maybe if it like gets to 600 or something, or like 700, we'll see. Yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Appreciate it. If you want to consider liking the video, dropping a comment helps me out a lot in the algorithm. No pressure though. But yeah, guys, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Relatively quick one today, and I will see you very soon in the next one. Peace.